In a quiet corner of the forest, where moss blanketed every stone and sunbeams danced through the leaves, lived Wayne the lizard. Wayne was small and shy, often hiding under rocks with his pebble collection, dreaming of adventures too big for his tiny frame. Every morning, Wayne would peek out from his hideaway, watching the forest creatures bustle about, but he never joined them. He feared he wasn't brave enough, fast enough, or loud enough to matter. One day, the peaceful forest air shifted. A strange chill blew in, and the sunlight faded early. The older animals whispered about the return of the whispering shadows, creeping fears that stole courage and joy from anyone they touched. Wayne listened, heart thudding. He'd heard the legends, shadows that slithered through trees, feeding on doubt. They were invisible to most. But sometimes, just sometimes, a brave heart could spot them in the dark. That night, Wayne couldn't sleep. The wind moaned through the trees like a warning. He felt something stirring in the forest. A creeping, heavy feeling that settled over his scales like fog. In the morning, he discovered his favorite sunning rock had gone cold. The warmth was gone. Even the birds no longer sang. The forest seemed to hold its breath, waiting for anyone to act. Wayne knew the elders would hide. They always did when danger came, and deep inside, a small voice whispered, "You must go. You're small enough to pass unseen here. You're quiet enough to listen. You must find the shadows, source." Trembling but resolute, Wayne packed a pouch with shiny pebbles for comfort and padded into the darkening woods. He walked alone, following the whisper of the wind and the places where light no longer touched the ground. The deeper he went, the stranger the forest became. Trees twisted like reaching fingers, and fog curled around his feet. Sometimes, he thought he heard voices. His own fears whispered back at him, echoing in the gloom. One whisper told him he would fail. Another told him he was too weak. A third said no one would notice if he disappeared. Wayne gritted his teeth and pressed on. "You're just echoes," he said. "I know who I am." He found the source of the shadows in a hollow tree, black as ink and pulsing like a heartbeat. Dark tendrils reached out, tasting the air, feeding on fear and growing stronger by the minute. Wayne wanted to run, but something inside him surged. This was the monster he had to face, not just for the forest, but for himself. He took a pebble from his pouch, held it to his chest, and stepped forward. The shadows hissed and curled toward him, whispering his worst fears. But Wayne shouted over them, "I am not nothing. I am small, but I see you, I feel you, and I choose not to listen." With each word, the shadows shrank. The pebble in his hand glowed faintly, lit by his courage. He threw it into the hollow, where it sparked like a tiny star, and the darkness screamed. Light burst from the tree, spreading through the forest in waves. The tendrils writhed and recoiled, vanishing like mist under morning sun. The forest began to breathe again. Birds sang. Leaves shimmered. The warmth returned. Wayne stood alone, panting, the pouch empty but his heart full. The shadows were gone, but more importantly, so was his fear. As he walked home, the forest seemed different. Not smaller, but friendlier. He still felt small. But now, he knew that being small didn't mean being powerless. When Wayne returned, the elders listened in stunned silence. They had never imagined the whispering shadows could be defeated, especially not by someone like Wayne. From that day on, Wayne's rock was never cold again. Animals came to sit with him, listen to his story, and learn from his courage. He became the keeper of light, a lizard who had faced the darkness and won. And every time fear whispered to another creature, they remembered Wayne's tale and stood a little taller. Wayne still collected pebbles, but now each one had a name: bravery, hope, truth, kindness. He kept them not just for comfort, but to share with anyone who needed them. Sometimes, the shadows tried to return, but Wayne would walk the forest paths again, shining his quiet courage wherever it was needed. He never shouted, he never rushed. But Wayne the lizard changed the forest forever, with a heart that would not yield to fear. And so, in a land of whispers and shadows, the light of one small lizard continued to shine, bright, steady, and brave.